What's up, guys? Note Investor here. Quick update on Bitcoin. The selling continues. The market remains choppy, somewhat range bound, but it's leaning bearish. Continues to consolidate here and pull in. Some of the alts are looking pretty strong. We saw some big name pops to the upside yesterday, largely driven on news and announcements. Binance, for example, very strong move, pulling in right now. And we'll take a look at a few of those. But until Bitcoin can recover and renew some strength to the upside, I remain very cautious. I'm not doing much in terms of trading right now. I'm just kind of sitting tight, letting this play out. And I want to show you guys some potential targets to the downside and some things to look for once it starts to reverse. So let's get to it. This is the daily chart of BTC. You can see that double top is still very much in play. Ever since breaking that neckline down here around that 9,500, we've just really struggled to recover that zone. Moving average is catching up here to the downside, and here in the last day, we're seeing some selling again. This daily bar is only 15 hours old, so it still has quite a bit to go. And by all accounts, it looks like it will finish lower than the previous close here at the low, which is not good because I was telling somebody yesterday, if it tests these lows again, this double bottom that we put in, most likely it will not hold, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. So that's what we're going to be looking for. We'll have to watch volume as well to see if it can finish on the lower end, even with the selling, just to signify potentially some downside momentum is waning. But for now, just I'm on the sidelines. Things don't look bullish by any means, and so we just got to wait this out. So if we zoom in, what we were watching yesterday, this is the hourly chart on BTC, and so there was some little bit of an equilibrium pattern forming, but for the most part, it's been choppy for the last several days, right? And these are the worst kind of markets to be trading, so it's always best to just sit it out when markets remain this choppy. And what I mean by that is when the markets are moving in a trend, those are favorable, right? This here, let me change the color of that for you guys. All right, so this is good when the market's up, and then obviously you're in a downtrend here, but at least it's trending. These little choppy periods are no fun. And then again, another trend, and then here, look at how choppy it's been just going across over the last couple of days. You have these big rallies, these big shakeouts, another big rally, just tons of choppiness. And those are the worst. Those are the most dangerous markets to try to trade because you'll just be in and out too much. You'll do over trading. You'll get stopped out a lot, and it'll be death by 1,000 cuts type of scenario. And so if you're hodling, then you just wait it out. If you're trading, it's usually best to stay on the sidelines until we see some sustained bullish action to the upside. It was looking pretty good here. We had a couple of bull flags being placed, and then just since that big volume reversal we saw to the downside, that got me out, and I've been out since then. And just, you know, we took a little shot here on this equilibrium pattern that was forming yesterday within that descending triangle, but you can see here clearly has broken to the downside. And so for now, the momentum remains in favor of the bears, and so we just got to wait and see where the next low is. The key level to watch here is that most recent low that we tested and so far have held on a closing basis, and that's right at just above that $8,400 level on BTC. As I record this, we are around 88, 8,700 or so. We've been bouncing around here for the last few hours, and the next level to watch again is at 8,400. Chances are usually when you see a double bottom like this and we start to retest it, unless it closes higher, most of the time when it tests that, it will break to the downside. And so beyond that, I did a measured move on the descending triangle that we were forming here, and that projected down to the low 8K range. So below that, I mean, there's not a lot of near-term support. If you look back, the last time we were down here was way back in here a couple of weeks ago. So there's not a lot of support here in the near term. And so if we break below that, the selling could accelerate down to around 8K. And so that's going to be the level that I'm going to be watching here as a potential support low point. Going back to the daily chart, The other thing to keep an eye on is if it goes down to 8K, the RSI here on the daily is starting to turn south again, and we could bottom out with a oversold RSI condition, and that could mark the low. And so those are the type of signals that I'll be looking for. You always got to be watching for volume and that sort of thing as well, and ultimately waiting for that confirmation, but anticipating where it may bottom out is going to be what I'm going to look at. So let's take a look at some of the alts here. First off, Cardano. So this one has been in a very long downtrend versus BTC. And here in recent days and weeks here, we're seeing attempts of a potential bottom trying to form here, but it still hasn't confirmed to the upside. But what I am liking is the action here underneath the surface on the shorter term time frame. So if you look at the 4-hour charts, just the last couple of days, this 4-hour chart has been very strong buying volume coming in here off the lows, lots of accumulation as it continues to break above these resistance points. The first one was this one here, and your signal really was the breakout point right there. Strong candle to the upside, strong volume, continues to move above resistance, came back, tested it, moving higher, maintaining that moving average. So, this one's just looking strong all around. It's outperforming Bitcoin slightly, not by enough in my opinion to warrant an entry just yet. You can see at this point we're only up 4%, and with Bitcoin being so choppy, it does not offset the potential downside risk, which is why I'm still waiting. But these are the type of names that I'm watching. They continue to build some bases at the lows. We'll see if it can continue. And we're seeing a few setups like this. VeChain was another one that was very strong. Granted, that had some news and some other things related to the movement, but nonetheless, the volume action over the last couple of weeks or the last couple of days has been pretty good. You're seeing a little bit of base building attempt here on VeChain. Here on the daily chart, it's looking pretty good. It's testing a key resistance point right now, right here at this point. So if we can close above that, you'll see some more upside testing. But so far, it's looking pretty good, and it's kind of putting a little bit of a double bottom here. You can see with the first low being right there, and then this second low being that wick there. So pretty good little double bottom being formed there with some upside momentum, volumes coming back in. And so there are signs of names outperforming a little bit, starting to try to base out here versus BTC, but it's certainly not across the board just yet. And with Bitcoin just being so shaky right now, I'm not inclined to do a whole lot of trading, even in some of these stronger alt names, just because the risk reward ratio is not in my favor right now. So I'll be watching this, and I will also be doing a separate video to introduce you guys to an indicator that I have developed. It's a little bit of proprietary indicator that I put together, and it essentially is a bull momentum index, and it measures bull and bear momentum. And it's a combination of multiple indicators, weighted, averaged, and just kind of my spin on it. And what it is it's just a secondary confirmation for me to confirm whether or not to take a long trade or not. So you can see here in this most recent period on the daily chart, it clearly has been pointing to stay out of the market since the last couple of days, and there's no sign of a potential low being put in here. And I'll go in through a different video explaining what some of this might mean and how do you interpret that, but something you'll see me introducing a little bit more from time to time in my future videos. And so I just want to cover that real quick. Looking at the coin market cap, we are at $355 billion. So under that $400 billion mark, we continue to see mostly red across the board here today. Just a lot of selling pressure that remains. There's always those names that pop. We saw NEM moving strong a few days ago, pulling in right now, like I mentioned, VeChain. Binance was strong yesterday, pulling in again here a little bit. But there's always going to be those names that pop. But for the most part, the selling pressure remains in place, and so caution is best at this point. And you just got to watch those stops and keep a tight leash on things right now if you're inclined to do any type of trading. And so that's where we're at, guys. I just wanted to bring that quick update. Look out for a scheduled live stream tomorrow, my time. I will post that and start tweeting that and sending that out. If you don't already follow me, go to follow me at Twitter at NodeInvestor. Subscribe, like this video if you found it useful. Until next time, take care, everyone.